morning. I gotta start up my podcast. I will not be online very much for a long time this morning, so it's gonna be quick. I already did my scans. My mouth is hurting. The time delayed. Oh, why am I not on the internet? The time delayed Wi-Fi. There I am. Painkiller is wearing off. Go girl. Go girl. Good morning. Go girl. Go girl. Let me turn on my do not disturb. Morning, Joe. Hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, my it's Xparel, I think is what it is. If anybody wants to, it's Xparel. This is what they put in each one of my wounds. And it's non-opioid Xparel. I don't know who it's made by. Let me see. Good morning, Zephin. Pacira Biosciences. Let's see if Pacira has a stock. There it is. Let's look at them. Because I got to tell you, this was amazing. Are you in the Northwest? Go girl. I had my wisdom teeth taken out. And yesterday was heaven. I think I was still high. Look at this. I may put this on my watch list. This is a popper. Let's look at, and it's non-opioid painkiller. But ooh, this looks like a long term. It has gotten killed. This was a $120 stock in 2015. Probably a target of a takeover or something. Okay, where are my notes? My mouth is hurt, and my apologies. My mouth is hurting today, so I'm probably going to make it a little quicker than normal. Morning, Larry. Yeah, Joe, you're up there too. You guys have it tough. Hey, listen, I'd be voting for anybody that says climate change. We have to go more renewables and do more climate change rather than fossil fuels and cheap energy. I've lived through a couple of those in Florida where there were wildfires and you couldn't go outside and you couldn't exercise. You couldn't leave. You know, go girl, I have a note and here's my note. I put it in the notes down below. Where is my note? Oh yeah, here. I will copy and paste my note for you. If I had bought Moderna when I got COVID. Because Moderna's in, and I bring this up a lot, Moderna's in the core portfolio. And 99.68, the algorithm said buy. Now, the algorithm does well for you over 2 years, 24.3 months. You lose 60%, but if you just bought the stock, you would lose 70%. So, but it's had its run. Yeah, I don't have painkillers. I don't want to take any. I had that Xparel, and the Xparel was really good. But I don't want to take any. Let me see. We had a like on a post. That's what we had, 822. Okay, we're going to look at SPY. Yeah, I'm not Go Girl. I'm not an options guy, but you can use my stuff to do options. I'm scared to death of options. Yeah, Tylenol and Advil, I'm switching on and off. And Joe, I love that you'd still get on the water. But even the water's smoky. I mean, if you're outside. I've left my water inside, but God, I can't even drink water. My mouth is hurting so much. Okay, SPY. Futures are pointing up. Yesterday was... SPY wasn't a great day. QQQ. By the way, we had a cross up in TQQQ, 37.98. It looks like it's bouncing off that 200-day, but I'm still not 100% sure you want to get into this one. Let's pull that gap back there. I mean, these two gaps worry me. But this gap right here is super, super close. Now, you got a gap up here as well. So which one will it cover first? Yeah, Zephin, you had morning T-Dog, but you had I had a friend in LA who texted me, you had an earthquake and a hurricane. Yeah. They had a full year of rain. Climate change is real, man. Climate change is whack. You're up 1% on TQQQ at 38.41. Listen, TQ. If you want to bet on NVIDIA today, TQQQ is the one. So, okay, let me get into this because I'm not going to be on here for long. My jaw is killing me. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys are here, and I am going to start recording this. Yes, you can make more money on Go Girl. I will tell you, swing trading and day trading is what I do. I don't do options, and the only reason I don't do options is because they just scare me. And yes, it's less money, and yes, you can make more money, but I'd rather my main portfolio is where I've made a large part of money, and my goal with the podcast was always to teach people, hey, you can trade around positions and do some things and definitely make money, but the large money you will make will be in buy and hold, and so options are not a buy and hold strategy. The only time I've ever used options was to hedge, like covered calls, where I held Apple for a while and stuff like that, but I haven't used it much. So okay, let me hit the record button. Good morning. It is Wednesday, August 23rd. My mouth is killing me. The here's an example of a stock. I went Exparel is what I got. It's non-opioid painkiller, and it's up on the screen. And I will put video on both YouTube and Spotify. But Exparel is the painkiller that they put in each one of the 3 wounds that I have for the 3 wisdom teeth that I got taken out. It's great. Went down to the bottom. Said, it's Pacira Biopharmacies, because I love this. And so I went up into any one of your Pacira, and I went up and looked at Pacira, and it's PCRX. Now, take a look at this. Looks like it's been beaten down. Looks like a pretty good stock that I could probably trade a little bit because it's a biopharma, so it does fluctuate a lot. But when you take a look at a long term of this one, we are in a super downturn trend. So you want to take a look at that. If you have a good experience with biopharma, if you have a good experience with a car, if you have a good experience with a product, that's how you do it. Now here, look at this gap up here between 100 and 112. That goes way back to 2015. So the company's been around for a while, probably. This one from $7 all the way up to $100 between 2012 and 2015. Great trade. Great investment. Hasn't been a long-term good investment, though, because it's just been floundering. So, but that's kind of how you can do it if you believe in something. I will probably take a little bit of a look into this company because that XPRL was amazing. It's wearing off now, definitely wearing off. But I found a couple other stocks. But before we get into that, let's take a look at SPY and QQQ. SPY is kind of on the upturn. I mean, yesterday wasn't a bad one. Obviously, August 18th, we were at the low there. I think we're going lower. I think we're going down to this 429. We're at 438 right now. You're at 439 pre-market. I think you're going down to the 200-day. That would be my guess. That 50-day is moving down. The 9-day is still, it's kind of moving forward a little bit. The 21-day is moving to just down. I mean, the only thing positive is still the 200-day. So you should be able to provide some support right there. That would be my guess. And again, anybody telling you this stuff is just guessing. Nobody knows where this market is going. QQQ, on the other hand, way to cross up, 363.41. You've seen a little bit of a rebound in the Qs in the NASDAQ 100, and that's because we're coming off. Take a look at how low that MACD. That MACD hasn't been down there since it looks like January of this year, and that's the last time the MACD was this low. It's crossing up. The RSI coming off of a low of 27, and it's now at 42, so it's in no man's land, so it doesn't have anywhere really to go. It doesn't need to be forced up. You have a gap up, but you also have a gap down. So your guess is as good as mine where this one is going. But if you believe that the Qs are going up because you got a cross up, you also got a cross up in TQQQ. So 37.98, you're trading at 38.33. I think you'll get back. Futures have been losing a little bit of ground. I think you'll get back to probably 37.98 at some point today. Again, same thing as Qs. You got a gap down here and you have a gap up here. So your guess is as good as mine. That's an overlook at the market. We'll talk about NVIDIA. We'll talk about Snowflake. They have earnings today, so you should get some movement in the Qs today. But we may just be sitting there. One that I want to point out that I heard a little bit about yesterday is Arista Networks. It was described as a sexier Cisco in what I read. They are needed for AI. So no matter who the chip company is, this is an infrastructure company to own. You can go on to FinViz, and ANET is the symbol, and you can look it up. These guys, Arista develops, markets, and sells cloud networking solutions in the Americas, Europe, and Middle East, and Asia. The company's cloud networking solutions consist of extensible operating system, set of network applications, gigabit Ethernet. It's basically cloud for AI. So no matter which chip company is going to make AI, these guys are needed as well. Now, it's run up here just an amazing amount this year. You started in January at around 114. You're at 187. This is simply like every other AI company. It's just, it's out of control with the growth that it's seen. And you've got gaps below. So I don't necessarily think that you get into this one, but put it on your radar. I put it in fact, I'm going to do it right now, into my not owned list on TrendSpider, and so I can keep an eye on it. Earnings yesterday. Let's talk about home builders. Toll Brothers. Seriously, best quarter ever. Best quarter ever. Their contracts were up 77% year over year. They raised guidance, everything going incredibly well. Average price of a house was $1.6 million. That's just crazy. That's because there is nobody reselling a house. Everybody's buying new because nobody can get into, everybody got 3% mortgages. Why are you selling a 3% mortgage to get into an 8%, a 7 or 8% mortgage like you have now? You're not. So new houses have become a premium, and Toll Brothers is one that's taken advantage of that. In pre-market, it's up 2% to 77. You've got 80 in this one. So I think you've clearly seen this double top up here at about 84. I think it goes past that. That was just an amazing quarter. So in my mind, I think you could take this pullback. Another one that I saw, VFS. Is it VFS? I forget. Let me see. It's a Vietnamese car company. Vietnamese car EV company. There it is. And let's see what the symbol is. I think it's VFS, but I don't know. VinFast. So VinFast is the company. And stock. Let's see. VinFast stock. Soars. VFS. Yeah, it is. It's not. It doesn't seem to be in. It's got a small float. So that might be why it's not in TrendSpider. Oh, there it is. VFS. I do have it. Why didn't I type it in correctly? This one was a SPAC, and it came to the U.S. as a SPAC. It was $10. I mean, up until August 8th, it was $10. You're trading at $30 today. It's coming down pretty hard today by 20%. It was up like 40% yesterday. I mean, you got gaps all over the place. Key supply, it's all on rumors. This one's going to fly. It's got a small float. Let's see what the float is. Let's go over to, and that's why you're seeing incredible volatility on this one. Just look at those candles. Those candles are huge. It's got 2.3 billion shares. That's not huge. Shares floated 1.12. They're making money. It's a good company. The rumor is the key supplier in the EV market is setting up in Vietnam. That would help them. They are building a plant in North Carolina and expect deliveries here in the U.S. on 2025. Keep this. In fact, I'm going to put this in my not owned as well because I want to keep an eye on this one. It's an EV company. It's going to go nuts. Final trades last night were interesting on CNBC. I just happened to be watching it. Tim Seymour said BABA. He doesn't believe that BABA's wrapped up in the China stuff. He believes that BABA's going to continue to go back to 100. He's been saying this. It did get back to 100 here back in early August. Great trade if you got it. The volatility on this one is great. I like it. I like the volatility on this one. IBM was another final trade. This one has been going fairly well. I mean, you can see here 123 back in May. For this month, think about how bad this month has been. IBM's gone from like 142 to 141. So it's held up. I like it. It's got stability there. And the final trade was XHB. This one is the home builders. And it's the spider sector for home builders. Look at, again, Toll Brothers reports that amazing quarter. And you've got this pullback. So I think that one is a great one as well. Let's talk about some of the stocks that I watch personally. Shopify. I've said I'm going to add to Shopify. Well, we had a cross up on Shopify back a few days ago, August 15th, which is just about like 8 days ago, at 55. You're trading at 53.98. It's right now in pre-market, it's at 54. It's kind of capitulating there. You're seeing it hasn't gotten you out. Now, will that 9-day start to turn positive? We're starting to get some confirmation. At this point, I would say I'm seriously looking at adding to my position. I like this one. It's capitulating. I think it's putting in a bottom. This is a great company that got rid of a lot of their cost, and they're going to start making money again. But it's definitely expensive. Let's talk about PayPal, because a lot of us got into PayPal because we believed that this quarter was going to be good. Quarter wasn't that good. You see on earnings. I think the 50 handle is where you should have gotten this one. They got an upgrade yesterday, I think. Let's look at with a price target. Their average price target is still $86. August 4th downgrade, $65, $75. It's still higher. The problem is, remember, this is margins, and the margins on fintech are not going to go up anytime soon. But overall, this one does seem to be going back to these gaps between 67 and 72. You've covered that gap, this gap back here already. But I continue to say this big gap up here between 83 and 85 is filled at some point. But they have to do something drastic. Those margins are what's taking it down. Now let's talk about Snowflake. Snowflake, they have earnings today. I own this one, and I own it at about 180, I think, is my average purchase price. And it's gotten back up there a couple of times. I might be in the 160s. I just haven't looked at it, but I continually add to it. And it's one or two shares that I add. It's not big lots. It's when it gets down here, I add one or two shares. This is a long-term play for me. It is in my retirement account, so I can get in and out easily. or add shares easily. I just don't seem to take the profits on this one. And I'm probably not doing it right. But here's what I want to point out is earnings season has not been kind this year. And we'll go over that a little bit. I'm going to show you a chart from, I'll put a chart in the newsletter. But earnings last time, this one went from about 180 and it dropped all the way down to the 150s. Well, this time before earnings, you've got the 150s here. Doesn't mean that you couldn't go down to the 130s because you've been in the 130s before. And where a stock has been before, it may go again. Here's what you have to know. If Snowflake reports any kind of, hesitancy in guidance, any kind of hesitancy in their, maybe their contracts aren't as strong, and they don't go from 14 or 15 cents. Maybe they're not at 16 cents per share. Maybe they're at 12 cents per share. This stock will crash down to 120. That will be a buying opportunity. This one is like Palantir. Their software is top notch. So you've got a good opportunity to get into this one. I don't know that I'd play the earnings, but if the earnings even give an instance of, oh my God, things are really good, unlike the last earnings, you could get back up here to the 180s. So I like that one. Costco is one that I watch, and you can see Costco has drastically fallen. Not drastically, but you've gone from the 560s down to the 540s. You still don't have confirmation. You're in this slide. The reason is this one has just run up too much. That 200-day at 520 is going to provide you some support, and that's where you want to sit at. So 520, I think the 520 handles. If you don't have a position, you get into that. You're the only catalyst that you have now is the ex-dividend date, which is coming up on August 24th. Devon is under 50 again. Devon is trading at 49 something, I think. Let's see, 49.17. Market just opened up. Oxy on our 4-hour algorithm. Oxy, you're out with a 10% gain, and you're kind of gapping down on this one with the open. But Oxy with a 10% gain up here. You bought in at 57. You got out at 63. You're trading at 61.98. I'd say sell it in the 62 handle. I think you probably are coming back down to this 200-day at 60. The swing on this one is $60. I seriously think that 64. Remember, the yellow line is up here because I said this is your resistance level, and this is where you get to, and this is where you drop down from. So I think 62, if you're holding today, I think 62, you'd be lucky to get it. Goldman Sachs. We talk about Goldman Sachs and the banks. The banks just got nailed. I mean, yesterday that everything got nailed. And when we talk about the banks, we want to look at book value. And the way you look at book value is you go over here on the left-hand side of FinViz, and it's book per share, $309. Anytime a bank gets close to its book value, you buy it. It's going to go up. Goldman Sachs is having some problems right now. They're not doing well management-wise. Investment banking is just not doing well for them, but they're going to come back. This isn't a Lehman Brothers. This isn't a banking moment. This is just, they'll come back. Buy it for the long term. I have Moderna, and I've talked about it. Moderna is not one that you buy and hold. Moderna is one that you trade, and that's why it's in the core portfolio to trade. We had a buy-in here at 99.68. With the COVID surge, if I had bought this stock when I got COVID, kind of at the end of July, I'd be even now. But I should have bought it once I recovered from COVID, and it got 99.68. I'd be up like 15% right now. Great trade. So BNTX is another COVID one that kind of gets popped up here. It is the partner where they do BioNTech. They do some COVID stuff as well, and they've gotten beaten down, and they're seeing a huge recovery on this one. You've got confirmation above the 200-day. You've broken that descending wedge. It's a little bit overbought right now, but those are the two that you really want to take a look at. Now, let's put in this. I'm going to open this up because it is a earnings whisperer heat map. And this is what you want to take a look at. This is the current heat map of the earnings season. So these are the price moves that you want to look at. And I will post this. Two names at the extremes are to report tomorrow, meaning AAP and NVDA. AAP is down 39%. NVIDIA is up 54% in this quarter. So AAP, let's take a look at AAP. What is AAP? Advanced Auto Parts. This one is down 39% in this quarter. I mean, take a look at that. Their last earnings, they just dropped. I mean, they went from 288 to 72. So you dropped from 109 and you're at $69. They reported $1.43. Nothing. The stock didn't move. I mean, the stock literally didn't move. So it's just there. I think NVIDIA, I think you're kind of going to maybe see that you're going to see one of two things. This one is either going to pop up to 500 and then it will sell back to 450, or they don't report a very good quarter, meaning that they don't blow it away and the numbers aren't like amazing, and you'll see immediately it'll come back down to $400. So it'll go from 450 to 400. If it goes to 400, you should buy. This is one that you just buy. I will include the Earnings Whisperer heat map and all of the stocks with the large move downside, including Sedge, including Etsy, including Dexcom, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Good news was Eli Lilly, Regeneron, NTAP. I got all the symbols in there for the good ones that Earning Whisperer said that were bad and stuff. You can look at it. But again, earnings today, NVIDIA and Snowflake. Earnings from this morning, Foot Locker. Foot Locker is the first one that I want to kind of point out. Foot Locker, I had a discussion with somebody yesterday about Foot Locker, and I said, I haven't been in a Foot Locker since 1985. And I think I did this the last time they had earnings, because the last time they had earnings, they gapped down. It was a bad quarter. There were a lot of articles out there hyping up Foot Locker, how it's a new CEO, how it's going to be a good one, blah, blah, blah. Horrible quarter. And it's continuing retail. I mean, they even brought out shrinkage, but a horrible, horrible retail quarter. They lowered their guidance and paused their dividend. That is the death star of a stock. It's down right now 34% at 1542. Not a good one. Next earnings this morning was Peloton. And this, again, horrible, horrible quarter. This is a company that just can't get it right. They've got too many bikes being made, not enough customers paying $40 a month. Their pricing is out of whack. I've talked about it before. The app is $12. You buy a bike for $200 and you can use their app with some sensors. You can get the same workout, but it's $12. They wanted to move to a rental. They haven't done very well, and it's been a horrible, horrible stock. Now, on the other hand, ANF. We're seeing, speaking of 1985, I haven't worn their clothes since 1985, but they're seeing a resurgence. This one's up 15%. I mean, this is 2 quarters in a row. Look, 39 cents, and it gapped up from 23 to 26, and you see, broke through the 200-day. And then this time, it's gapping up from 42 to 47. This has been a great trade since May. I mean, you've doubled your money in a freaking retail clothing store. That's what's nuts. So I'm kind of nuts on that one. I wouldn't buy it. I think it's stretched, but they've got some good cash flow and they've got some good, some really good guidance. Dexcom, DXOM, is it? Let's see, Dexcom, DXCM. John from IG, I was wondering if you could go over Dexcom this week in the newsletter since you're off the pod this week. Good luck with your recovery. I'm lucky that I'm back on. Since they're significantly oversold, the price target range is from 130 to 175. They seem to be trading as solid support. Any feedback appreciated. Again, hope the recovery goes well. So I agree. I tell my dad anytime this thing dipped below 125, buy it, because that's been that's the line that I put in here for quite a while. I mean, you can take a look at it. Look, I mean, that's been a solid trade since November of last year, where if it got up to 125, you just sell it, but you buy it below it. And I continue to think that that's the case. Now, here's the thing that you have to realize. We still don't have a cross up here to cause a buy in the algorithm. I don't think that makes a huge deal because this one is so low on the MACD. In my mind, if my dad's looking at buying this one again, I'd say buy it. I think I would have probably bought it at that 115 because you had confirmation. You just lost it. Is this one going back down under 100? I mean, let's take a look at long-term on Dexcom. I think it's a good stock. You're just hitting the 200-day. And what's happened when you've hit the 200-day? You've gone up. It's a good stock. This is a blood sugar monitoring for diabetes. For those of you that don't know, it is the leader. The problem is that Apple is rumored to be potentially having blood sugar in the watch without poking yourself. They filed a patent. This one would be game-changing, and it would hit Dexcom really, really hard, because if all you have to do is buy a Apple Watch to monitor your glucose, then your blood sugar, this might be, not that great of a stock at that point, because maybe they don't get it. But everybody that I know that has diabetes raves about Dexcom. So I think it's still a good stock to own. I think if Apple does get that patent, I think Dexcom might follow them into that kind of world where it's not poking you. You don't have to wear anything. But this is definitely 100% more accurate than what the Apple Watch would probably give you. The first time somebody has a seizure or goes into low blood sugar because their Apple Watch is wrong, Dexcom will probably hop on that one, and Apple will probably have a lot to answer for. So let's go into scans, because I've probably been on here way longer than I thought I was going to be. But TQQQ, we talked about this one. This one has a cross up. Right now, you're kind of you're at 38.35. The cross up here was at 37.98. I think it's a good one. QCLN. This one is a clean energy ETF. It has a lot of the solar stocks, a lot of the wind stocks, renewable energies. 45.23. I own this one. What you have to know about this one is that I actually love the stock. I love the ETF. I think it's been a good ETF. These stocks just haven't done well. And so from February of 2021, it's been a nightmare to actually own. But you're down at that bottom part of the descending wedge. You're below the 200-day. What's happened when it's gotten below the 200-day? You get above that 200-day. The problem is higher for longer rates are going to continue to kill this one. One that I own and I will probably be adding to, because I don't have a very large position in it, is DraftKings. Football season's coming up. I said this is a $30 stock. I think it gets back to that $30 level. I think this gap up here between 30 and 31 gets filled. 27.23, you're trading at 27.02. I can't imagine that with football season coming up. This one, again, it's very expensive to get customers. This one dropped when Penn announced that they're going to have the ESPN partnership. Cleveland Cliffs, we have a cross up here. This one at 15, I don't think you're doing yourself any disfavor to buy. FBCG, the dogs are barking. The dogs are up. Stop. Penny, I can't yell. FPCG is the Fidelity Blue Chip Growth. Oh, you're going to have to put up with this. Nobody's outside. FBCG is the Blue Chip Growth Company, or ETF, that has beaten Cathie Woods. This one I said it was going to 30. When it was back here at 25, it got up there. You got a 20% gain. I don't think that you trade this one. I think you buy this for long term. I think it's a very, very good ETF to actually own. A company that I have liked to trade is Roblox, and I think this one gets back to 40. The problem is the users are down, and so Metaverse is just not getting very well. Even though it's a cross up here at 27, and I do think it's a $40 stock, I don't think that you buy this one on the algorithm. I think you hold this one if you currently own it. I think you hold it, but I don't think that you buy it here. I just think it's right now they're having some user issues. Again, it's not a good one. JEPQ, we talk about this one. This is a high dividend payer, 8, 9%, 12%. Covered call ETF. We've talked about Boyle here before. And liquid natural gas. Boyle is down around 60. I'm going to have to pull that up. But LNG just got a cross up at 166. Remember how I said down here at 141, this was going to cover this gap? Well, it covered the gap, and you're done with it. So we're heading into winter. LNG is going to buy cheap natural gas, export it to Europe, It's going to start making money. Boil, you're out. You're at 59.77. I think this one gets back to 70 at some point in time because I do think that natural gas is going to go up in price. It's the only energy source that just hasn't participated in the energy run. There are a bunch more, so many more. Let me see if there's one that I really want to cover. Oh, ARKK and ARKW had a cross up. One that I do want to point out, SOFI had a cross up. We talked about this one being a $10 stock. I think it is a $10 stock. I think when student loan payments start up, I just don't think that students pay attention to the freaking news, and they're just going to pay. Even though the Biden administration says there's nothing that's going to happen to you if you don't pay, I don't think anybody's paying attention to the news. So I think this is a $10 stock. You don't have confirmation, so I'd be a little bit careful because I do think that you could come down below this 200-day, and I think that that volume shelf right there at about $7 might provide some support. But if you get down below $7, look out below. Coinbase had a cross up, COIN. And this one is, it's on cryptocurrency. We have seen Bitcoin kind of pull back here, 74.90. You still don't have confirmation. Be very careful of this one. But this one ran all the way up to 100. We talked about Bitcoin with the crash and stuff like that. So I like this one. I do think that this one is probably going to bounce. Remember, they got the approval to trade futures. When a Bitcoin ETF comes about, this one's going to freaking fly. It's just going to fly. We have GEHC, which I said I really like. This is the new GE Healthcare. These guys with MRI machines and stuff like that, really, really good company, 68.87. I think it goes back to fill this gap up here at 83 to 86. I think healthcare has just been beaten down, and I think this one in particular is just getting killed. Visa and MasterCard both had cross-ups. I'll put these in the newsletter. BlackRock had a cross-up. This one is getting killed on commercial real estate. There's rumors that some of these big guys with some of they're underwater in some of their real estate buildings, and they're basically going to banks and saying, you know what, we purchased this. You guys won't give us a loan to actually refurbish the property. Here are the keys. They're just basically turning it back into the bank because they're so underwater with their purchase price. So that's rumors. I wouldn't necessarily buy this one up here. Do I think it's probably going back up to 700s at some point? It's a good company. Do you come back down here to 630s? Maybe. It's a well-managed company. I just don't think there's any problem with it. So it wouldn't be one that I would look at. I'm not looking to buy it. But I am looking at SOFI. I'm looking at NVIDIA. I'm looking at Shopify. I'm looking at PayPal. There's quite a bit that I gave you today. Goldman Sachs, Costco buying on the dip. Snowflake. I think Snowflake's a good one. I own it. Shopify, I'm looking to put more money into. Uber, even Uber. I mean, look at Uber. Talked about, at 44.16. It's kind of capitulating here. A lot of this stuff is capitulating. And what I mean by capitulating is it's just kind of going sideways. And when a stock goes sideways and those Bollinger Bands cinch up, you either go up or down. And Lord knows that the weakness in the markets right now would point to down. But I do like Uber, and I own Uber at like 46, 47. So if you're here, remember Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. You get all of the links that you need to. TrendSpider 25% off. That's the charts that I show visible. If you have a phone service that you're paying any more than $25 a month, they've got great phone service. That's what I use. And the one link that I think you should use is Webull. If you don't have Webull, if you're trading in Robinhood, get out of Robinhood. Webull is just so much a step up. First off, when you get out of Robinhood, they charge you like $70. It's going to cost you money to get out of there. It's time to get out of there. Just do it. Cut the cord. Before they go bankrupt, they'll probably get bought by somebody, and then you got a shitty experience of crossing over. But Webull has great desktop software. I think it's the move to go from a Robinhood retail trader to an actual investor. I think that's where Webull really puts you. And I love their app. I liked Robinhood's app, but I think Webull is actually better just because it's a better platform. Plus, you get free stocks. That's the big one. Up to 12 free stocks when you deposit anywhere from $3 to $3,000. Put $100 in there. I put in $1,000, and let's see. I put in $1,000 January 1st. I'm at $1,909. So I like it. And Thinkorswim is really good too. Go girl. I like that one as well. Personally, my big portfolio is in Fidelity. I love Fidelity. If you've got a large portfolio, they provide you significant benefits to get over there. And if you're depositing or transferring more than $2,500 to there, just notify me and I'll hook you up with my guy Stuart. And I think he gives you a couple $100. I get $100, depending on the size that you do, but it's got to be like $2,500. That's why I say Webull. A lot of people don't want to move $2,500, but there are incentives to move that stuff. So if you have any questions, hit me up. The newsletter I will put out, dailystockpick.substack.com. This is daily. It's free. The only thing that I charge for are the weekend newsletters. It's like $8 a month or $80 right now. I will probably up that price again as I get more content out there and archive it. But the Daily Stock Pick newsletter is free. It includes charts like this one yesterday. I think yesterday's newsletter was just spot on. Pod notes, I talked about PanW and Fortinet. There's the Palo Alto earnings. I included a fun Cartman thing where he says startup and bro down. And the top 5 things every trader should be watching this week. NVIDIA earnings are number 1. Jay Powell's speech is coming on Friday. 10-year yields. Japan and China. Bonus was Bitcoin. I included Zip Trader Charlie in that one. A great video. Why I don't do penny stocks. And you can watch this one. But it's a great newsletter, in my opinion. I think it provides you a lot during the day. If you don't read all of it, you can scroll through it in your inbox. It just arrives around noontime every day. So I like it. Okay, I will try and be back tomorrow. My mouth hurts. I said I was going to be on here for 5 minutes. We got to 33 minutes. Okay, take care. See you guys. Bye. Okay. I guess I didn't delete that. Let me see. I guess that's, yeah. Okay, let me export this. Export song to disk. God, I think I'm feverish. I love Cartman. Export. I do too, go girl. Funny little fucker. Let me export this. Okay, let me look at your comments real quick. I think you guys were having a full-on conversation. I have Cleveland Cliffs on hold now. Thoughts? Here's my thoughts on Cleveland Cliffs, Larry. Cleveland Cliffs I own. And you guys know I own it with an average price of about 18, I think. I'm holding on to that one. I'm adding to this one. I think the biggest thing that I think is that CEO is such an angry little fucking dude that when he puts his own money in, and he put his own money in at 15, 18, that dude is going to manage to that share price. And I think with his bid for steel, U.S. Steel, I think he's going to be doing well. I think they're going to spend a lot of money. I don't think that they're going to get it, but I think it pushes their share price up. So I do think that Cleveland Cliffs is a good one. So, Dick's shrinkage. I know. I tried to keep it PG, go girl. Go girl, subscribe. Yeah. Newsletter's good. I like the newsletter. In fact, I kind of pick and choose. The newsletter takes me a long time, not a long time to write, but I use my notes. So when you listen to the podcast and you have the newsletter, and I got to do a video. I was going to do a video of how I think you could use the podcast and stuff to actually make money, and do investments. And I think, if you have a bubble with just I think the center core is probably the newsletter. Even though that's the last thing that I started, I think that's the center core. But I think from there you could listen to the podcast, you could watch the YouTube, Or you could get TrendSpider and do it yourself. So, yeah, I think they allow crypto. I don't know. Let me see. Let's see. Markets, stocks, ETFs, options, learn. I guess you can't do. I haven't done crypto in here, so I don't know if you can do crypto. Let's see. Can you trade crypto in Webull? That allows you to buy, sell. Yeah, says you can. Yeah. You have to use Webull Pay. I don't know too much about it. I don't even have Coinbase. Let's see. Is this done? Yeah, it's done. Okay. Save. And hopefully that works. We're going to close that out. Let me see. Anybody ask anything? Go girl, I'm here every day. So wicked show again. Thanks, Lucas. Hey, Scott. Use the link, because you get shit and I get shit. So, and here I'll send you the link. Let me see. Menu. Use this link. Copy success. No. Let's see. I've got to paste. No. Why the hell doesn't this come up? Copy your referral link. There we go. Use that link, go girl. That's the link for Webull. Put in $100. I mean, I put in 1,000, and I trade there every now and then, but not much. Okay, I've got my two. Why did this come up like this?
Good morning.
There we go.
Wednesday, August 23rd. My mouth.
Okay. Yeah. I am going to take some water, try and get some soup in me. Good day. It's a good time. Here's the thing that I would caution you a little bit, go girl. And I said this, since this is your first time here, I said this yesterday, and I've said this for August, September, and October are typically very bad months. Week. When you're up as far as we have been for the first 6 months, these 3 months are super, super weak. So historically, it hasn't been a good time to go long. It's been better time to go short. I do think that we probably see some bounces in here. I mean, just Moderna is a great example. You have the vaccine stuff coming out again, and people have COVID. I got my COVID for the first time, but that's a nice 15% move right there. You've got these little things that are popping up. Netflix is up almost 3%. I think Netflix is going to have a killer quarter next time. I think you're going back to 500 on Netflix. Microsoft, I said buy under 330. I think 330 is a great price for Microsoft. It's bouncing off that 200-day at 321. Could these go lower? Google, we talk about capitulating. Look at Google. I mean, ever since their earnings on July 25th, this thing has been going between 125 and 135, and it's just capitulating. Now, where's it going to go? Who knows? But with AI, do you think this one's going down? I don't think so. Apple, back in the 180s. It dipped down here below the 200-day. Did you get it? Did you start your position? Zephyr, I don't know that I'd go SQQQ. Remember, I'm a big wimp when it comes to these triple levered ETFs. I was much more apt to do this when I was in my day trading days. But you've gone from 17 here on August 2nd. And Zephyr, you have TrendSpider and you have my algorithm. So you can look at this stuff. 17 here, and you've gone up to 21. I think anytime you get up to 20, when you buy under 20 and it gets to 20, when it gets to the next handle, you take a look at, hey, we've got to start taking some profits. SQQQ, you probably bought up here at 21 or so. And it's died down. But here, TQQ, I don't think you're getting back to 34. I think you take that loss. I think you write off that loss and you wait 30 days. But you just had a cross-up of TQQQ. Now, here's the thing. You got a gap down here down to 30, and you got a gap up here at 40, 43, 44. You're right in between. You're under the VWAP. I mean, let's pull it back a little bit. If you're right here at this gap where this gap created, look at these volume shelves. The volume shelf that you have right now is right here, and that's where it's building support. So, do I think it's going down? I think NVIDIA is going to drive this market today. Look at energy. I mean, look at Devon. Devon is at 48. You've had a chance to buy this under 50 and sell it over 50 for a while. The 200 days right there. At some point in time, you're getting back up to this gap at 52 to 53. So I don't know that you necessarily want to take a triple levered ETF and trade that one since you're so unsure of where the market's going, Zephyr. I'd probably, in this kind of market, I would say buy a stock that actually has value. Yeah, so here's what it is. It's called a watershed. I think it's watershed is what it is. I think it's... No, let's see. Let's see. Here, wash sale. That's what it is. I'll put this. Here's. It's called a wash sale rule. There's the link for you. And what a wash sale is so say you buy SQQQ and you lose $500 and you want to write that $500 off as a loss against a gain. You can't buy SQQQ again for 30 days. So if you don't buy SQQQ again for 30 days, you can write that loss off. You can still buy TQQQ. You can buy you can buy another downside levered ETF against the Qs. There's quite a few in the if you look at and I think the levered ETFs list that I have. You can buy SPXU. You can buy any of these other ones. You just can't buy SQQQ. And so when your tax comes from your brokerage, and this is why I like Fidelity, because Fidelity does it right. I don't know that Robinhood has this shit right, but as long as you don't buy it within 30 days, you can take that $500. Say you make $1,000 off of TQQQ, and you've sold it and you've made $1,000. These are logged profits, so again, check with tax people, but the watershed moment, if you don't buy SQQQ within 30 days again, the $500 you can take off against the $1,000 that you made in TQQQ. And remember, short term is short term and long term is long term. You can't write off a short term loss against a long term gain. It has to be short and short, long and long. So I that's the way I typically play things. Like for instance, NVIDIA. Say you lose a bunch on NVIDIA and you won't wait 30 days to get it again. Now, here's the thing. If you buy back in within 30 days, Zephyr, then that loss, say you lose $500 on SQQQ, and then you make $500 2 weeks later on SQQQ, you're zero. You can't take that $500 off your taxes. That's what that wash sale rule is. Basically washes it out. But mostly, you know, Fidelity will kind of do that for you. I don't know who you're, I think you're on E-Trade if I remember correctly. They'll do it right because that's Morgan Stanley. They've got it right too. No, I think GoGirl, I think Netflix is one where on their last earnings, they did not realize the revenue from the password crackdown. So that's where their next quarter, they're going to recognize that revenue. And they should still recognize some of the customer gains as well. Okay. Hopefully that helped, Zephan. Helped you understand that. If you, Zephan, I mean, you're one of the day one, so if you have any questions, just email me or ping me on something. I'll help you with some links to get some stuff. But SQQQ, look at the algorithms. I mean, look at this one, the 4-hour algorithm. It doesn't have you out, but you know it well enough that it button hooks. If we run the 65-minute algorithm on SQQQ, I think it has you out as well. Yeah, it's got you out with a nice 6% gain, but it hasn't gotten you back in. I just would worry, Zephan, about, you know, SQQ coming back down to like this 17 level, which I think it might if NVIDIA really blows it out of the water tonight. I think that's likely that you're really coming down. I mean, look at Netflix is up, Microsoft is up. I mean, your Qs are just going really well. What's TQQ at right now? Let's see. It's up 2.71%. Look, we had the cross up here, 37.98. You're just at 39. So I don't think you buy it at 39, although you have confirmation. That's the crazy part, is it's coming back. Energy's going down and everything else is going up. Google's up 2%. Meta's up to 1.5%. Get Meta under $300. Get Meta under $300. I'll say it again. Get Meta under $300. I don't know why I circled that. Was that the last earnings that I circled or something? No, I think it was this gap. You're not coming to cover this gap at 211. I don't even think you're coming down to the 200-day 266. You got down to 274. And you're at 292. So, okay, I am out. I will talk to you guys later tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be on. See ya, bye.